Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live with CDP Sports Talk, Season 5, Episode 53, number 273 overall today on this Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Beautiful day today, about 21, 22 Celsius, sunny and clear, and looking forward to my show today. Before we introduce our guests, as always, Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles. Or get 0210 or email them at info@barrycullen.com as well. And as always, Live with CDP Sports Talk is on weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta, the home of Southern Talk in sports as well. Guys, I hope everyone's having a great afternoon. I'm looking forward to my guest today. This is her first appearance on here. Her name is Gracie Jet. She's based out of Owen Sound, Ontario. She's a songwriter, musician.
Hi there.
Oops.
I think it's glitching.
That was on me. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. This is just a Wi-Fi connection. It happens sometimes. I do have one of those Wi-Fi pods, but technology's funny. But Gracie, I want to say thank you so much for coming on today, and I look forward to speaking to you.
Oh, it's so great to be here, Chris. I'm so glad you invited me on, and I'm ready to chat about my new song and just to let people get to know me a bit.
Well, congratulations on that new song.
Thank you.
Let's get into it right away. Can you just tell my audience here in Guelph, and it's kind of international as well, about your newest and just released single, Nightingale, which is available on, obviously, your YouTube channel, Spotify, SoundCloud?
Absolutely. So I'm a nurse. I've been nursing for the last 6 years. It's been a crazy ride. I've worked throughout the entire pandemic, and this song really came out of the core of the pandemic. I wrote it around 2 years ago when everything was so uncertain and things were changing in the hospitals, and people were scared, people were worried for their families. And also, I've been a nurse for quite a while, and so I was able to draw on the experiences. So the song is called Nightingale. So Florence Nightingale was our first OG nurse, and I wanted to kind of salute her to what she's made as nurses and where we're at. And so the song I wrote is about kind of different experiences I have experienced at the hospital, watching families grieve, being there to support a patient, and what I go through as a nurse when someone passes away, and how I deal with that, and what kind of happens around that, and the stories behind these people's a person's palliative care journey. So and then the song is also about hope, because I think I'm definitely a cheerleader at work. I like to be that person that's trying to be positive and make sure that everyone feels included at work and also feels like they're supported. So it's also about holding on to the people around you and getting through that hard time. The pandemic for a lot of nurses, and still was a really, really hard time. And to keep going every day working 12-hour shifts is not an easy job. And I just wanted to let all the nurses out there know that they're not alone, and that we can hold on and we can get through this together. And as nurses, we are strong, we are smart, we are brave. And I just think it's such a good song about where we're at as nurses and how we can continue to work together to get through some of the issues that we're facing in nursing today.
Before we get to the video, I just want to say Happy Nurses Week to all.
Yes, Happy Nurses Week.
Including my cousins Terry in Michigan and Janice, who's a cousin of mine in London, Ontario. And it's it's not an easy profession to get into, and especially during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
Now, a couple of questions before we get to playing the video clip of your song. Where did you record the song at, and how long did it take you to write it?
I record my partner in crime, I call him. His name is Murray Foster, and he started this Toronto songwriting school. And so I started taking lessons with songwriting a few years back, and our friendship kind of grew from there. And so he asked me if I wanted to do an EP or an album, and I was like, absolutely. And so we started working on music, and so he is who I've recorded all the songs with. So they're all produced by Murray Foster. And I wrote the song quite quickly, actually. When I was, I also love the concept of Nightingale, because when I was a child, my dad used to sing the Cinderella song Nightingale to me. And I think it's just such a warm and fuzzy kind of thought about when I think of Nightingale, I think of love and caring. And so when I wrote this song, it came to me quickly. I think it was right in the core of the pandemic, and I think I had so many emotions and so many thoughts, and they kind of just burst out onto the page, and the song was pretty quick to write. And that's normally how I write things: is I get an idea and I have to roll with it or I lose it. So that's kind of my songwriting style.
Okay. Well, before I get to some more questions about Nightingale, do I have your permission? I have to ask
Absolutely.
you on here. So Facebook and YouTube don't shut this podcast down because of copyright. It is so fussy on here. So I just make sure I ask musicians when they come on here if it's okay to play a clip of their video song.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. 1 second. And this is courtesy of your Gracie Jet YouTube channel, which I just subscribed to today. So anybody out there, please subscribe to Gracie's YouTube channel.
A hospital room, the lights dim.
Can you hear it okay?
Yeah.
I make the bed again, but I still remember the look on your face. A family of 3, wife and kids. He tells a story of a life well lived, 40 years together, now goodbye. It never gets any better. I can't help but cry. Feel I failed you even when I tried. Question why I ever chose this life. It never gets any better, but I'll stand by your side. Won't leave for a while, even when you close your eyes. So sing sweet nightingale, sing sweet nightingale. I'm part of her army, put the weight on me. So sing sweet nightingale, sing sweet nightingale. I'm part of her army, put the weight on me. And I will stay awake each night till you can't sleep. A moment of silence for the gone too soon. I'll pack your things from a hospital room. I call your key and tell them the news. It never gets So sing, sweet nightingale, sing, sweet nightingale. I'm part of her army, put the weight on me. So sing, sweet nightingale, sing, sweet nightingale. I'm part of her army, put the weight on me. And I will stay awake each night so you can't sleep. Frustrated, why can't we succeed? I'm burned out more than you'll ever see. When I cry, oh, it makes me feel weak, but I'll set it all aside when we meet. So I'll hold on, ooh, I'll hold on. So sing, sweet nightingale, sing, sweet nightingale. I'm part of her army, put the weight on me. Sing, sweet nightingale, but I won't give up the fight so easily. But I won't give up the fight, so please breathe.
Oops. That clip was courtesy of Gracie Jet's YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's also available on Spotify, SoundCloud, and also I have your website, graciejet.com. Thoughts just hearing your song?
Sorry, what was that?
Thoughts on just about hearing your song, and what was it like when it came out yesterday on Spotify?
Oh, when it came out, this song to me, like I said, I wrote it 2 years ago, and this song means so much to me, especially as a nurse. And I think the message is so strong, and my thoughts on hearing it and it being out on Spotify, and someone used the sound yesterday for the song, and I just think that's the coolest thing. I think everything that's happening with this song, people listening to it, people being able to relate to it, people being able to listen and cry, but also understand it, and kind of like it makes people feel, this song does, and it makes me feel. I sometimes I can't even listen to it without crying, depending on where I'm at. It's an emotional ballad about a hard subject, and it feels so great to have this song out in the world so other nurses can hear it. And I really hope it can be an anthem for any nurse that is going through a hard day, or feels like they're having a hard time at work, or just dealing with some of the hard things we have to do. We watch death a lot. We are around people that are hurting. We are around people that are struggling, and that can be really draining. So I think this song is just an anthem for women and men in nursing, and I think it's great, and it feels great to have it out. So I'm so glad that I've been able to have this song come out when it did on Nursing Week. Obviously, I planned for it to come out on Nursing Week, but I'm just glad it all worked out and the timing was right. So it's good.
And I will make sure this podcast is spread across Canada, the States, the UK, internationally. And I really like the song. And this is what your fourth. You're welcome. This is what your fourth single that's come out so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So this will probably be the last single to come out before my album comes out. We don't have a release date. We're still kind of fine tuning some of the songs. So I think this is my number 4. I think all my songs tell a story, and I think they're parts of my life. When I write a song, it's a journal entry that I'm deciding to share with the world, and my lyrics that I write are normally very they're all close to my heart, but this song, I think, especially with the pandemic, is really dear to my heart. So
okay. Now, you got such a beautiful voice. Was there anybody in your family where you got your God-given ability from? Was there anybody else in your family that was a singer and musician?
My whole family sings. Like I grew up in church and I sang in church, but I would say that I've been given the gift of singing, and I don't know if anyone else in my family has it. I definitely don't think my sisters do. I used to try to teach them to sing when I was a kid, and we would sing Christmas shoes all the time. And my one sister, is completely tone deaf. No. But my family has always been so supportive of my music, and I grew up singing in church. I sang in choirs. My parents have always been so supportive of my musical dreams, and I just think I love them to death. And shout out to my parents. Hi, guys.
How supportive has the staff at the hospital been about your music and this song that just came out yesterday?
The staff on, so I work on medicine 6162, and we're a stage 1 facility, so it's a big hospital, and they have been amazing. They come to my shows. They're always texting me about different things. A lot of them posted about Nightingale coming out, and I really appreciate their love and support. And my boss Brent, he's been awesome. He loves guitars, and he brought me in one of his nice cool guitars for me to play a song for the staff, and I was able to record it and put it on my Instagram page for people to see, and it's one of my new unreleased songs. So if you want to hear a little snippet of a song to come, you can go check it out. But everyone at the hospital has been really supportive. They came and took my photo the other day to do a little article on me, and I've really appreciated all the support, especially from my manager and my fellow staff. It makes me feel great, actually, especially this song for them. The girls I work with are such, oh, I'm getting a little emotional, are such an amazing women. They really are. I work with some of the most smart, caring people, and they've watched me grow as an artist, and they've watched me grow as a nurse, and they're amazing women. So I really appreciate their support.
And before we get into some other questions, how supportive has the city of Owen Sound been with your music so far in your career?
It's been great, actually. The Sun Times and Owen Sound did an article on me, because this is my first year. Really, this is my first debut single. Sister came out this year, 2023, and a lot of people have reached out. I've done a lot more shows. I'll be doing a show at the Heartwood here in Owen Sound. Tickets will be going on sale in the next few days. It's Friday, June 9th, and I've really felt the love and support from my community. Actually, I used to play a lot of shows out in Stobble Beach. It's just 30 minutes away from here, but that's kind of where my musical shows started, and it's great to be in Owen Sound and have people recognizing my music and wanting to come out and support me, and also because they love my music too. So, and I just did an interview this morning with Rogers TV, our local Broadway broadcasting station. So it's been good. It's been a great day. I'm just great to be. I always say with music, I'm just thankful to be in the room. I love everything about music is so interesting and amazing to me. So, having this morning doing an interview for Rogers, it was just really cool. Yeah, it's great.
And ironically, I do volunteer work with Rogers as a camera operator as well.
Hmm.
So I learned the TV and the radio side, and I think that's great that you're getting so much exposure. Now, just going to get to some questions, Gracie. Can
Sure.
you just tell my audience here in Guelph and also in Georgia just a little bit about yourself, and when did you pick up that musical bug?
Sure, absolutely. So I was born in England. I grew up. My parents are both English. I grew up in a town called Wassel, and from my earliest memories, I've always loved music. I've loved to perform. With my song "Bicycle," you can see in some clips where I'm shoving my sisters out of the frames because I just wanted to be the star. I sang in choirs, and I sang a solo at one of my school recitals when I was probably around 6. And I love to perform. I love to engage with people and have that banter from an audience. And so that's kind of where it started. Then I moved to Canada when I was 9. And I kept on doing little coffee houses as I grew up. I always wrote songs. Even from when I was a little kid, me and my friends used to make little music videos, which are still on YouTube, which is frightening. But I've always loved music. And so when I went away to school for nursing, music was still a part of my journey at school. I liked to do little coffee houses. And when I moved home and started my career as a nurse, that was when I really started trying to push myself, writing daily, trying to do more shows. And with the pandemic, everything kind of was put on hold, but I was still trying to hone in those skills like my songwriting and making sure that I'm still trying to improve like my musical, my singing and songwriting skills. So
Do you remember the first song you ever performed in front of an audience, and were you a little bit nervous?
um I used to get nervous, actually. I think I remember that first song in England a little bit. I remember being in this huge room, and there was over 100 people there. It was a big English school, so it was a big cathedral we were in, and I sang this song. But one of my first memories over in Canada, um, was a school assembly where I sang a duet with one of my best friends. She's still my best friend. Her name's Kate, and we forgot half the words. And I think we just sang half the song twice. And I remember the teacher looking over at me and glaring. And that's probably not my first best experience of my live singing when I was a kid, but I've something about performing for me. It gives me such a feeling of joy and excitement. Once I'm up there and I've got into it for a few minutes, there's no nerves. When I did one of my first shows with my band a few months ago, there wasn't even a thought about nerves. It was just I was so excited to even be up on that stage that the only thing that was on my mind was how excited and pumped I was to be there. So nerves haven't been a very big issue for me throughout my life. I think I'm too high energy.
Do you have any rituals before you do a live performance?
Not so much rituals. Like I know everyone has their different ways of warming up, and I always sing the song from The Sound of Music, like "Do a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun." I sing that, and so this morning on the way to do an interview, my dad picked me up, and I was just belting that out in the car. So that singing that song, it's probably my only ritual I have before a show. And I think I like to give all my band members a hug probably like 5 times each. I think I'm just a very touchy-feely person, and I'm normally just so happy. So I'm just like, hello, give me a hug. But other than that, no, probably just that song.
Do you have a vocal coach as well? And before or after a performance, do you drink a lot of water and tea for your voice?
Before my last show, I nearly lost my voice. Actually, I think I over practiced, and I had a cold a few weeks before, so my throat was going. But I try to drink a lot of water as much as I can. I don't have like a set amount of water I try to drink before a show or anything like that. I just try to stay hydrated as much as I can. I've had 2 concussions in the last year, and so I've experienced some really bad headaches throughout that time. So I started going to a physiotherapist named Andy Plater in Owen Sound here, and he has been one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life, because he helped me get through a stage of my life where I was in so much pain from headaches that it was debilitating. And so he always talks to me about the importance of drinking water, and so I do try to stay hydrated. But I like different. I like normal tea. I'm English. I just like a tea bag, a little bit of milk, and some sugar. So that's the extent of that for me. But yeah, just normal tea.
How much of an adjustment was it to move from England to Canada? Because I know when I was a child, I ended up moving from city to city, and I found it hard. But what was it like going from England to Canada, specifically, I guess, Owen Sound?
Yeah, absolutely. I've lived here since I've moved here from England in Owen Sound, and it was a huge, absolutely huge adjustment. We lived in a small house, and then I moved to. It felt like the countryside. It's close to the Owen Sound town, but um, we live on 5 acres. My dad used to, when we first moved here, would blow the laneway with a push one, and our laneway is like an acre deep. It's a very deep driveway. So I think we were a bit underprepared. I absolutely hated snow pants when I moved to Canada. I didn't want to wear them. I used to throw a fit. I think I've always been on the dramatic side of things, and I wouldn't put them on. I wouldn't. I didn't like them. I didn't like how they felt on my legs, and so my mom finally said, "Okay, then you don't have to wear them. You don't have to wear the snow pants." So there was some really big adjustments, especially different how people say things here in Canada, like toilet in England, you say washroom here. So there was certain things people would say to me, "Oh, that's not how you say that," or correct me. So there was a lot of the culture in Canada to England is very different too. The humor is different. So it wasn't a big adjustment, but moving to Canada was one of the best decisions I think my parents made for me. I had a childhood that I probably wouldn't have had in England. I grew up running around in the trees. We used to make forts, teepees, climb trees. We used to sell lemonade at the end of our road. Growing up in Canada gave me a childhood that I probably wouldn't have had in England. And I think that's an amazing thing. But it was a very big adjustment. I don't have an accent really anymore, I wouldn't say, but I kind of lost it growing up here. So kids would ask me to say things all the time, like helicopter or different words. Instead of I say dollarama instead of dollarama, or so just little things like that. But most of the accent's gone at this point.
I guess the time difference in the UK to here is what, 5 hours?
Yes.
They're ahead of us? 5
Mhm.
hours. So that must have taken a little time. Now, what was your favorite Canadian food when you first came to Canada or Owen Sound? What was the first thing that you had that you really liked right away?
It was so long ago. I'm trying to think. I guess probably poutine, maybe. I'm a sucker for an English meal though. Mashed potatoes, gravy, chicken, and some corn or peas. So that is my absolute favorite dinner of all time. My mom makes it any chance I can get her to, maybe for my birthday or anything. But I I can't. Oh, you know what? When I was a kid, I used to love beaver tails. I live near Blue Mountain, and we'd always get one. We were on the hill skiing, and they were the best. So I think that's probably, if Canada's given us something, it's definitely the beaver tail.
One thing I've learned about this podcast is listening skills. You beat me on to the one question about the skiing. Is there any other Canadian stuff in the winter that you like to do, like snowmobiling and
Absolutely.
stuff like that? Yeah, snowmobiling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so my dad is he loves toys. He has a boat and four-wheeler and stuff like that. So I grew up snowmobiling. He would take me to a Tim Hortons in Hepworth, and it was like an hour or two snowmobile away. And we would do that all the time. Actually, so many of my memories as a kid are with my dad doing fun things like four-wheeling or going camping. And I think as a kid too, he used to take me fishing all the time, and I don't like fishing, but we'd go camping, and we'd go to this little pond and catch tiny little fish. So I definitely had a childhood full of Canadian activities, especially the snowmobiling was definitely fun, and I grew up snowboarding too. So I've done a lot of fun Canadian activities, I guess you'd say.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, we brought it up before we came on here live, is obviously Owen Sound is known for the waterfront too. So I haven't
Mhm.
been to Owen Sound since 1995,
Wow.
so I should come up and visit Owen Sound this summer just
Absolutely.
for the area and stuff like that. One thing I wanted to ask you about is how did you end up meeting Paige Warner, who I've had on my show, and she's a musician from Owen Sound as well, or moved up there from Kitchener.
Yeah, so she moved up here from Kitchener. It's a funny story, actually. She got her nails done by my sister, and I think she had just moved here. My sister is a nail tech, Flawless Nails, and she does amazing, absolutely amazing artwork, and on the hands nails, and she got her nails done by my sister, and she was saying she was a musician, and so I looked. My sister told me about this interaction, so I messaged her, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Gracie Jet. Welcome to the area. I would love to meet you, and let's get coffee." So, and we got to know each other, and I was just talking to her today, actually, and saying just thank you for. She's been a great friend, and she's given me different advice and stuff. So I'm glad that I was able to meet you through her. So she's been a good friend. So it's funny how people come together from different parts of Ontario and how musicians get to connect with each other.
It really truly is a small world, and it's just
Yes.
funny how one person comes on my show, somebody watches it, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to come on Chris's show," and it's just
Hmm.
how you connect. It really is a small world, and I've been able to get guests on from Canada, the States, and Australia, and now I have somebody coming on next week from the UK, and
I saw that. Yeah.
yes, and I've been getting musicians as well. So I love my sports talk, but I'm also trying to branch out. So I'm trying to make this a diverse show that's not just sports oriented, but entertainment oriented as well.
Absolutely. Cool. It's great. Yeah, no, I I'll have to thank her again for getting me kind of connecting me with you for the show. But I think it's great. I saw that you had someone from the UK coming on next week, and I was like, that's so cool. Like it's just, I definitely think the show's growing, and I'm glad to to be here and be a part of it.
Thank you, yeah, so
Sure.
much. It's and anytime you do a new career, I just trying to prove to people that you can start a new career at 50. So maybe somebody will write a song about what I'm trying to do one day. Because I was in another profession for 2 decades, and I
Wow.
was paid well, but I was not happy, and,
Hmm.
the last 3.5 years, I've been a lot happier, and what I love about this show is connecting with my guests and learning, and, every show is a new learning experience for me.
Absolutely.
Are you go ahead.
No, you can go on.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it's crazy how we actually have some nurses that have come in second career later in life and decided to do nursing, or they change from community nursing to in a acute hospital setting nursing, and they're very different. I think nursing is so versatile, and you can go do something like injections, more aesthetic stuff, or you can be in ICU, or then doing pediatric nursing. There's just nursing is such diverse, and there's so many different ways you can go. And I think that's one great thing about nursing is you can just go to any. You can, if you're sick of one, you can go to the next.
Definitely. I
Hmm.
don't know about Ontario or in Canada, but I know in the States there's still a nursing shortage, and there's still nurses that are going from Ontario over to Michigan in that state because my cousin Terry's a longtime nurse over there as well.
Yes, the staff shortages are definitely increasing, and my sister's actually a nurse, and she just congratulations, Annie. She just actually passed her exam a few weeks ago, so that's a big deal. Another nurse in the family, and she was looking into the travel nursing, and I. It's crazy. A lot of my friends are doing it. There's so many opportunities. I think if you are a nurse, there's never not work. If you want overtime, you can get it because there is such a demand for nurses, and people are getting sicker. The hospitals are so full, right? Like we're there's not a day I go in and there's an empty bed. And I always say the inn is always full. There's never time where we're not short. Where there's not where we're not always short, but there's a lot of days I go in and we are short. And so and that's why I think I always go back to being really like a cheerleader at work, being positive and stuff, because sometimes when you go in, it's going to be a harder day than normal. And I think being positive and trying to look at the best, because if you go into something with a negative outlook on it, it's harder. But some days I've gone in and I'm struggling, because we are short staffed, and our unit is changing a bit, and we're hiring more people. So if you want to come work in an Owen Sound as a nurse, we will. You can bring in your resume. So I think there is staff shortages is bad, and I think it's really hard for the nurses, and it's definitely something we have to talk about, because it's not sustainable forever, right? So
Okay, well, we'll get into that in a few more questions as well. Gracie, this one I wanted to ask you as well is obviously we talked about your family, but who are some of your other influence and other musicians in the industry that you grew up listening to and enjoying, like single artists and groups and bands?
sure. So everyone knows I am a total Taylor Swift fan. I love her. I love how she can write a song and have you up dancing, and then write another song and make you cry. I completely envy her songwriting skills. I think she's an amazing performer. I always think about the time where she had an outfit, and they did a breakaway moment where the full outfit came off and she's wearing like a beautiful gown underneath. And I was like, that is so cool. That's someone I want to be like. I want to put on a show where people leave the stadium. I'm not playing in stadiums yet. But where people leave and I'm like, wow, that was a great show. Her songwriting is amazing. And definitely Adele. I love the way Adele sings. I think I kind of I like the deepness of her voice, and I think I've grown up listening to her music, and I think she's an amazing artist. And I think also my family has influenced who I am as an artist. My parents are pastors, and they've always had music playing in the house. They love everything to do with music. And at church, they were always kind of wanting me to play in different bands or do little songs at church. I always did in the Christmas play. And so there's been people that have definitely influenced where I am in music, and kind of set me on my way. Especially, I love also Matt Meeson. He's an upcoming artist. He played one show here last year in 2022, and it was amazing. He sounded absolutely great. So if anyone's not heard of him, I definitely look him up. He also writes music, and I think that's what I also am really drawn to, is artists that write their own music, because I feel like they let you into who they are. You get to know the hard times. And I think, like I said before, my music is my journal entries, and I find some artists really do that well. They go through something and are able to put it on paper, and you get to be brought along on the ride of what has happened in their life. And I think that's so great.
Have you ever gone on a vacation somewhere where you just all of a sudden got an inspiration to write a song?
Yeah, when I'm away, I have written songs. I find I write my best songs though when I am at home, or I'm driving to work in the morning. Like when I sometimes I try not to really do hardcore music writing while I'm away, because I'm just trying to relax. And writing music does relax me, but sometimes if I get started on something, I can't stop. So then if my family wants to do something, I want to write my song. So I try to enjoy some moments just to be in the moment. And if there's karaoke anywhere on vacation, I'm always up there. We used to go to Florida every year, and I would always sing. But no, there's not like a song that I've written. I'd have to really think about it. I've written a lot of songs over the years, but I can't name one off the top of my head.
You mentioned the word karaoke. I tried it once
Yeah.
a couple of years ago in New York City. I had a few drinks at a bar by a hotel I was staying at. Had a lot of fun, but the owner's like, "Don't ever do karaoke again." I emptied out his bar. I have no music talent whatsoever, and that's why I have so much appreciation for the people in the industry and that. And
Right.
it's not easy to get into. It's also I didn't write this down, but I'm going to ask you this anyways. How competitive is this music industry, especially when you're first starting out?
Oh, I think it's so competitive. Like I was actually talking to Paige about this earlier. I want this so badly that it sometimes hurts. Like I am getting into this industry and meeting people. You have to really put yourself out there. And I am an outgoing person, but still you have to be on the ball. You have to be trying to network. And as a musician, it's not just singing. You are a brand. You have to be able to push your brand out into the world. People have to be able to connect with you, and that's a hard thing sometimes, especially trying to always be going. And I think with the momentum of music, you have to always be pushing yourself, trying to do better. And Taylor Swift has spoke about before, trying to reinvent yourself. And I think finding out who you are in music and being able to to explain that, to show that to people, and so people can see you for who you are. I think it's hard sometimes. You got to be on social media. You got to make sure that you're networking, meeting people. But I love it. Like I love being able to be in this industry, and I'm starting to meet some amazing people. The last few years, I have a band. I've started to meet other musicians in the city, working with different producers and songwriting with people. It's a lot of work, but I love it. So it doesn't always feel like work to me.
The word that comes to mind just talking to you today, Gracie, is how passionate you are. And what you just said there even applies to what I'm doing or other people in any career. If you're going to start a new career, you need to have the passion and you have to put in the hours, put in the time
Hmm.
and connections, not just friendships, but connecting and networking is huge no matter what career
Absolutely.
you're into. And I can sort of relate to you, except for the musical part of it.
Yeah,
And
I
putting myself out there. I came on TikTok a couple years ago. I never thought I'd go on TikTok. Too old, can't be bothered with it. But it's been a great tool for my podcast and promoting my guests as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I think for me, social media, my main platform is normally Instagram, but I'm trying to branch out, make sure I'm using all the different apps, and that is a lot of work. Like, I like to make different videos to kind of showcase who I am, make silly videos and stuff like that, and the editing takes a long time. Like I think I'm starting to realize how much work goes into digital creating. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of learning for me, and I think I'm definitely starting to get better at it. But um,
Takes
yeah,
time.
it's a full time job, and I
Yes.
work. I'm a full time musician and a
Yeah.
full time nurse, so
Nurse.
um, things can get a bit chaotic at times.
Yeah, last year I created over 8,000 minutes of digital content. So
Wow.
it's like, yeah. And there was times when I was working midnights, I would do my podcast show on very little sleep. So I can relate to you about working shift work and working the night shifts. But when you're passionate about something, you're willing to make those sacrifices as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Are you okay for a couple more questions, time
Sure.
wise? Okay, no problem. Can you tell my audience about your other singles, Be Like Us, Bicycle, and Sister, and what was the process like to write and record those songs?
So you've got a little list here. So I'll start with Be Like Us. Like I said, every song
Oops,
comes
sorry.
from a. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You've got the song there, Be Like Us. So it that song actually, my favorite movie is Bridget Jones's Diary, and Be Like Us came from me writing about that. So how it started was Bridget Jones's love for who she was. I want that magical, crazy love. That's how it was gonna go, and then it turned into driving in the woods like a movie. So it's kind of funny how a song can start in one way and really go into something else. But I still love Bridget Jones, and I always say I'm the Bridget Jones of 2023 because I see so much of myself in her, the quirkiness, and that's how Be Like Us kind of was born. And then Bicycle was my second release. And Bicycle is about my dad, but also about nursing and what I've seen in the hospital. So Bicycle is a story of how I learned to ride a bike as a kid in England growing up, going to Wales, going to different places and camping with my family. And I learned to ride a bike there. And that's a really, really big memory for me. And it sticks out in my head. I can almost feel being on that Daffy Duck bike when I was a little kid and my dad taking off the training wheels. And I can feel like the air on my skin. It's such a vivid memory. And for me, at the hospital, I see people come in all the time and they talk to their parents and say, "Hi, Dad, it's me, Gracie. Do you remember me?" And they'll be like, "Oh, who are you?" And they'll be like, "I'm your daughter." And it's also this story of families that are grieving the loss of a loved one. Their loved one doesn't remember them, and they're trying to reorientate them and try to get them to remember. And so how I thought of this song is, if I was in that place in my life where my dad had forgotten who I was, how would I get him to remember me? I would tell him about the times we used to ride a bike together. And I think it's a song about love and childhood, but also about the loss and how families have to deal with the loss. Someone may still be there, but their memory is fading. And I think that's something that I've seen a lot over the years. So I think wanted to bring some attention to it. So, and then we have Sister. That was my first song, my debut single. And that song is one of the most powerful songs I feel like I ever written. I wrote it for my sister when she was going through a hard time, having some mental health issues, and I wanted, that song is about knowing that you're not alone, and sometimes it's okay not to be okay, but people around you, people around you are there to support you. And my family is so close, and my sisters, my parents, I love them so much, and if I can make them feel better in any way by creating a song, I want to do that. And that was my song to her, to know that I loved her and that she wasn't alone and she was going to get through it. And she's doing amazing. She's such a strong, brilliant girl, super funny, and I'm glad that she could have been there she was there for my first concert and watched me sing, and I sang that song to her, and it was a really surreal moment to have her front middle stage so I could sing that song to her, and she loves it, and she gave me the okay to talk about it, and I think her story is one that's absolutely amazing. She's a brave, intelligent, gorgeous woman, and I'm glad that I have her here to support me through my journey with music. And yeah.
Strong support system as a musician is important, but also as a nurse, or I've had people in my family that were paramedics. You need to be able to have a strong support system at home, because as a nurse or a paramedic or a doctor, whatever, first line responders, you have to deal with a lot of stuff, and it's important that you have a really strong support system at home. And mental health nowadays too is becoming more of a factor as well in society.
Absolutely. I think mental health for people in the pandemic. I've also worked as a psychiatric nurse earlier on in my career, and social media and different things like TikTok and Instagram, they're great, and they can be such a fun thing, but they also can be a place where people feel very lonely and are judging their life based on other people's lives. And I've struggled with that in the past. I remember my mom always tells me to stay in my lane. And I sometimes get this feeling like I'm not doing enough. I need to work harder. And sometimes I just have to remember and remind myself that where I'm at now, a few years ago, I would be shocked. And I need to enjoy these moments. I have affirmations in my bathroom that I read every morning, and to remind myself that music is fun. I am a good singer. I am a good nurse. Because sometimes you just need to hear it. Like I always say at work, positive affirmations, or even just telling someone they're doing a good job goes a long way. And that positive self-talk is something that I've struggled with in the past. And I'm really,
Same here.
really, yeah. And I'm trying to work on that. And I'm really trying to take the time, like I said earlier about the concussions, taking the time to work on myself and making sure that I am the best person I can be by eating better or drinking more water, or also doing things for my mental health, like counseling and stuff like that. I think as a musician, the internet can be really mean and a hard place to be. And when you see everyone else doing so much, it can be really challenging to be like, oh, I'm not good enough. But making sure that I take time to celebrate who I am as Gracie Jet and celebrate how far I've come, especially with everything that was on hold with the pandemic. I'm proud of myself. And I, like Snoop Dogg says, I just like to thank me for being me. So that's where when I look in the mirror, sometimes I have to remind myself that I am where I'm meant to be right at this time. And so I think that's yeah.
I find for me, when I'm feeling down or having one of those days, I find listening to music really helps because it brings back memories from when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. For me, I grew up in the 70s, so 70s and 80s and early 90s music are my favorite eras of music. And I just
Hmm.
find upbeat music can really improve your mental well being and just
Absolutely.
definitely. Some of my favorite singers, Bob Seger, Phil Collins, AC/DC, and Kiss, and classic rock, and a little bit of Motown music. And now I'm becoming a fan of yours as well as
Ah,
Paige.
thank you.
Any plans to play up in Guelph this summer? Paige is going to be
um,
here July 15th.
Oh, okay. No, I don't have any plans as of right now, but me and my band are trying to book some more shows. And so if anyone wants to reach out, if you know anyone, send them my way. Because I would love to play in Guelph. I actually went to Guelph University, so I know the town quite well. And it's such a beautiful city and it's gorgeous. And I'd love to come back and play some tunes for some people. So I'll definitely have to look into that. So maybe I'll see you in Guelph sometime.
There is a hillside festival on Guelph Lake in July, so maybe we'll cross our fingers and you'll come up here by then.
Maybe we'll see.
Definitely. And I need to visit Owen Sound as well.
Yes.
This next question, you've already answered part of it, so I'm just going to ask the first part of it. What are some of your favorite places to perform, clubs to perform in Owen Sound so far?
I love I love playing at Heartwood. When I first started trying like playing my originals, I used to do the Heartwood open mics in Owen Sound. It's a venue here. And I feel like it gave me a platform to try out my new songs and meet other musicians. And I will be playing there on June 9th, like I said earlier. And so that for me is probably my favorite venue because even if I'm not playing, it's just to be in the room. It's fun. Like it's a good environment. Lots of people can fit, and it's a good place. And I also play at Grit and Grace. They have a clothing store actually in Guelph, and they have one in Sauble Beach. And they're one of the first people to give me a chance to do some shows a few years back out in Sauble Beach. And so I go back every year and do some live music there because I appreciate them believing me. And I think I like going there. I like to play. I like to busk in the summer sometimes, even though I am doing bigger shows. I still think it's a good time. So probably at Grit and Grace. And if you haven't been to their store, you should definitely check it out in Guelph or in Sauble Beach.
Okay. What's the biggest audience you've performed in front of live so far?
I think around 100 people is where I'm at right now. But hopefully, as time goes on, the shows will just keep getting bigger and bigger.
definitely. And we'll wrap it up with two quick questions. What do you enjoy the most about the music industry? And what are some of the hardest aspects of the industry? And do you have any advice for those watching or later listening on this podcast show or on my WQEE 99.1 FM radio station in Georgia? Cheap plug there. For those looking to start in the music industry.
Absolutely. What the most thing I enjoy about the music industry is getting to play live. Obviously, I love putting on a show, and also songwriting. I've been me and Murray Foster, my friend that I'm producing these songs with. I've been able to co-write with him, and I think it's amazing how you can bring something to the table or a concept, and you can work with someone. And the hardest part, I think, has been getting into the music industry, meeting people and connecting and making those connections, because I do agree with you what you're saying. Without connections, it's hard to break into this industry. So, the advice I'd give is talk to your fellow musicians. I always laugh that I end up in everyone's direct messages. Any musician, I'm in there like, hey, how did you do this? And I look things up. I don't want to be given things. I want or just different advice, or just hearing other people's opinion, other artists on the music industry, or just where they use, say, like a publicist or different things like that, who they use. And so I like to connect. I would say connect with your fellow artists, because you're all, at the end of the day, you are all in your own lanes. And music is so competitive, but I've made some great friends throughout the industry, and I find like the more I connect with other artists, the more I grow, because I think I can teach them things, and they can teach me things, and then we all can do better together. So I would say, don't be afraid to ask questions. There's not a wrong question, and I think that's been my biggest thing. I think when I first started doing music, I didn't want to ask questions, and that doesn't work, because then you're trying to figure things out on your own sometimes, and it's really hard. You have to really take the time, and I still do that, but having other musicians to kind of chat with and throw ideas off is super helpful. So just start connecting with other people would be my advice.
Well said, especially for the music industry, and that even goes for the radio and the media industry I'm looking at as well. So we've already brought up the one concert June 9th at Heartwood Hall. You want to just tell us about a couple more? I've got them on my graphics down here too. July 1st, Canada Day, Waterfront Festival. How big is that in Owen Sound?
That will be a huge event. So it's one of the biggest events of the summer. We also do the fishing derby, but Canada Day, it's a packed event. There'll be lots of other musicians, different stages. The River District does a lot of stuff in our community, and that will be a big one. So if you want to come out and see different performers, there'll be music, different vendors. So I think that will be a great time. June Motel is out in Soulful Beach. I will be playing there somewhat regularly throughout the summer. I do have some more show dates that will be going up in the next few days. I'll be playing at Grit and Grace. I'm playing at the Red Door and a few other smaller venues around the area. So I hope people get to see me out this summer and can sing along to some of my songs and get to know me a bit.
And is the links for tickets on your website, graciejet.com?
So the only show that will be a ticketed show right now is the Heartwood show, and that will be going up probably today or tomorrow. So people can get tickets for that at Heartwood, the Heartwood Hall page. So you can go to their website, and I will make sure to have links to that so people can get tickets.
Okay. I'm going to put you on the spot here. What are some of your other favorite hobbies, and what thing do you enjoy the most about living in Owen Sound?
What are some of my hobbies?
Other hobbies besides music?
I would say, yeah, music is my main hobby. It's not a hobby, it's my job. Like
Yeah.
a hobby. I used to crochet. It seems like anything in my life, if it's a hobby, it somehow turns into a job. I used to crochet little bit bikinis when I was younger, and it turned into a job. And I made a full business called Woven with Roses. So I find it hard to separate work from fun. But I do love Harry Potter. If that is a hobby, then we can, well, that will be my hobby because that always stays fun. I love Harry Potter. I have bags, I have artwork. And then I guess another hobby, something I've done since I was younger, probably since high school, is collect Polaroids. I love to capture a moment in its real, authentic moment. No filters, no nothing. So anytime my friends have birthdays or Christmas, I have Polaroids since I was 16 years old. I'm 28 now, and I love collecting them. I just think they're so real and beautiful. So I have tons of them. And when people have birthdays, I put a few in my cards. So that's a hobby. So I would say photography and Harry Potter are my only other non turn into job hobbies.
I find the older I get, everything's going back to retro. Roller skating,
Yes.
vinyl records, CDs, cassettes are even coming back. When you release your album, will it be on a vinyl record as well? I'm putting you on the spot here.
I'm not sure. But the album will be called Polaroid. I
Okay.
haven't told anyone that yet. So yes, the plan.
Newsflash.
Yes, it will be called Polaroid because how I look at Polaroids is memories from my life, and so these songs are either somehow, even if they're like Be Like Us, where it's the story of Bonnie and Clyde. There's still something that grew from those songs, like Bridget Jones. I love her. So these are all different moments of my life. So these are the Polaroids. These are my Polaroid songs.
Definitely. And we're going to wrap this up. Now, before we wrap this up, what has been your most favorite concert you've been to, either in Canada or the States?
My favorite concert was to Ed Sheeran. I went to his show probably a year ago, and I'm pretty sure I cried from start to finish. It was one of my first concerts ever, and it was the most amazing experience. I'm going to see him again this summer on June 18th. So he'll be in Toronto, and he loops. He does a lot of looping in his songs, and that's something definitely I would love to learn to do. And he's an amazing performer, amazing songwriter, and I can't wait to see him. So his shows were some of the best I've ever seen.
I was supposed to go to my first concert a couple years ago, a Billy Joel concert in Buffalo, but the pandemic put the spoil to those plans. So I'm going to have to go to see Paige this summer and see you perform as well.
Absolutely.
And it's been a real pleasure having you on Live with CDP
Thank you.
podcast today. And finally, we're going to wrap this up here. Where can my audience follow you on social media, your website, and of course, where can everybody listen to your music and especially your newest single, Nightingale?
Perfect. So everything can be accessed online. So any musical forum, so Apple, Spotify, iTunes, you can access my songs from any of those platforms. They're on TikTok, Instagram. So my Instagram is Gracie Jet. My TikTok is Gracie Jet Music, and my website, like you said earlier, is www.graciejet.com. And you can see any updates. You can sign up for my email list, and you'll be sent out different updates once in a while of what I'll be doing, music, different music videos. There's a lot of exciting things to come that I'm really, really excited about. So if you want to stay updated, you can go to my website and sign up for emails, or just follow me on any of my social media at Gracie Jet.
And your next live performance is June 9th,
June 9th.
at the Heartwood Hall, and that would be what, in an Owen Sound?
Yeah, so Hartwood Hall, Owen Sound, at starting, the doors open around 7, and there's another band playing, so it's going to be a fun night.
All right. Well, Gracie, I apologize for keeping you over 45 minutes, but I want to say thank
No
you so
problem.
much for coming on season 5, episode 53 of Live with CDP. And when I get about 25 minutes, I'll have our episode downloaded to all my audio platforms,
Perfect.
and I'll send you a link to my YouTube channel, the audio. And when this airs on WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta, I will send you the link to the station's website, and hopefully you'll be able to listen online as well.
Wow, that'd be great. Okay, thank you, Chris, and thanks for having me. I appreciate taking the time to chat with me and getting to know me a bit. It's been a pleasure.
Same here, and please, when you see Paige, say hi to her, and hopefully we'll see both of you this summer for some live music performances.
Absolutely, and you have a good day, Chris.
You too. Thanks, Gracie. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed season 5, episode 53 with Gracie Jet, a singer, songwriter, and a nurse from Owen Sound, Ontario. And her next concert live is June 9th at Hartwood Hall in Owen Sound, the Gracie Jet Band. You can check out her website at graciejet.com as well. And she is on Instagram, Facebook. And also, you guys, please subscribe to Gracie's YouTube channel, Gracie Jet, on YouTube as well. And there are other performances. July 1st, Canada Day at the Waterfront Festival in Owen Sound 2023. June 15th at the June Motel Sable Beach, and July 22nd at the Red Door in Meaford, Ontario as well. Before we wrap this show up, guys, I'm just going to let you guys know. Hang on one second. Here we go. I got so many stuff on my tech card. The next live with CDP Sports Talk, Thursday, May 11th, tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. My guest is going to be Sal Capaccio. He is the host of the Extra Point Show daily from 10 to 12 p.m. on WGR 550 in Buffalo, New York. And he's also the longtime sideline reporter for the Buffalo Bills. So if you want to talk Buffalo Bills football tomorrow or have any questions for Sal, please email me at cpalme19@gmail.com or text the show at 519-820-7188. Again, Sal Capaccio on season 5, episode 54, tomorrow at 12 o'clock as well. Some sports news, guys, before we wrap it up. NHL playoffs tonight. We have Toronto at Florida. The Panthers are up 3-0 in that series. Vegas at Edmonton. Vegas is up 2-1. And the NBA playoffs, Miami at the Knicks. Miami's up 3-1. And the Lakers at Warriors. The Lakers are up 3-1. So both the Heat and the Lakers on the road tonight can close out their series. And the Florida Panthers are 1 win away from the Eastern Conference Championship for the first time since 1996. We'll see if the Maple Leafs can win tonight. I believe I don't think Samsonov's going to be starting in net for the Leafs tonight. I think the young kid, Justin Wohl, I think this is his name, is going to be starting for the Leafs tonight. But the game's in Florida. It's at 7 o'clock as well. So we'll see what happens. But I expect the Leafs to play their best game of the series tonight. Even though I'm not a Leafs fan, I really think the Leafs are going to play their best game tonight. We'll see. Also, guys, NBLC, National Basketball League Canada playoffs tonight, 7 p.m. tonight, Sudbury at Windsor. If you can't get down to the WFC Center in Windsor, the series between them and the 5 are tied at 1-1. It's a best of 5. And if you can't get down there tonight, the game will be live streamed on National Basketball League of Canada TV with play-by-play announcer Aaron Sanders, who does a tremendous job with the Windsor Express. And he's been the voice of the Express since 2015. And I really hope if you guys can't get down to the game tonight, you guys will watch Aaron do play-by-play on NBLC TV as well. And I will be a media affiliate at courtside tomorrow at the Kitchener-Moore Auditorium. Thursday night, 7 p.m. London Lightning up 2-0 over the Kitchener Waterloo Titans. Game 3 tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at the Odd. If you cannot get to the game, you can get tickets at kwtitans.com, or you can watch it on NBLC TV at 7 o'clock as well. So I will be there taking pictures, videos and doing some post game coach and player interviews, hopefully as well. And London right now is up 2-0, and they're a tremendous team. They have beaten Kitchener, I think, 5 straight times in the postseason, going back to the NBL finals last year. And they're going to be looking to advance to the NBL finals for the second consecutive year. And congratulations to their London Lightning head coach, Doug Plum, on being coach of the year 2 years in a row. Finally, guys, NFL 2023 season schedule will be released tomorrow, Thursday, May 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern on the NFL Network. I know one game confirmed is the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants on December 25th, Christmas Day at 4:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. So it'll be a very Merry Christmas this year in Philadelphia when the Eagles hopefully defeat the Giants again as well. And finally, guys, I'm just going to wrap this up. I just got so many graphics here, guys. Just give me 1 second. Live with CDP Sports Talk, a sports and entertainment talk show hosted by Chris Palme, myself, is on weeknights at 8 p.m. again on WQEE 99.1 FM, the key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Southern Metro Atlanta. Also, guys, you can follow my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, and I want to say thank you to everybody watching this live stream today as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles as well. And also, guys, right now, if you're looking at a new vehicle at Barry Cullen Chevrolet, look at a 2023 Chevy Equinox, 3.99% financing for up to 60 months. And if you're an eligible Costco member, can receive a $750 bonus on select SUVs. So reach out to Barry Cullen Chevrolet at that website I mentioned, barrycullen.com, or give them a call at 519-824-0210 as well. You guys can also follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. I post a lot of video content there as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting such as myself, check out StreamYard.com as well. And finally, before we wrap this up, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk, the audio version is available on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, and Tuned In. And again, weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM as well. And that's it. I want to say thank you again to my guest, musician, nurse from Owen Sound, Ontario, songwriter, singer, Gracie Jet, for coming on Live with CDP Sports Talk. Again, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. And just, guys, give me about 10, 15 minutes, and I will have this podcast show downloaded to my audio platforms. And also, guys, the Toronto Argonauts, the defending Grey Cup champions of the CFL, are back here in Guelph, training at the University of Guelph, and I will be doing some media work for them as well as a media affiliate, and they will have a preseason game here in Guelph June 1st at 7 o'clock. I believe it's a Thursday, June 1st, 7 o'clock at Alumni Stadium at the University of Guelph when the Toronto Argonauts take on the Ottawa Red Blacks. Please check out the Argonauts official website at argonauts.ca for more information and to also purchase tickets for this preseason game here in Guelph as well. I hope everybody has a great rest of the afternoon, great evening. Enjoy the NHL, the NBA games, and also the NBL playoffs again. Sudbury 5 at the Windsor Express tonight, 7 o'clock from the Windsor FUC Center. And it's on NBLC TV, 7 o'clock with Aaron Sanders. Have a great day, everybody. And thanks to Gracie Jet for coming on, and for Barry Cullen Chevrolet for sponsoring this podcast show, and WQEE 99.1 FM, Metro Atlanta. home of Southern talk and sports. See you guys tomorrow for season 5, episode 54 with Sal Capaccio from WGR 55 talking Buffalo Bills football. Good afternoon, everybody, and good evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow again, 12 o'clock for another edition of Live with CDP Sports Talk.